Good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending. I want to start by, I'm Dan. This is Madan. I want to start by thanking Rajiv and Nail, the general chairs, who made this ASPLOS happen. Thank you for accommodating everything that we wanted. You did an excellent job. So let's start. It's traditional for program chairs to begin the opening comments with some statistics about papers and the reviewing process, etc. And this year we're going to start with an unconventional statistic. I'm speculating many of you don't know that among the many links that you can find in the program, in the web page, 3 of them point to PDFs that contain the message from chairs. So you click them, you get to the ACM Digital Library, and you search for the front matter, and then you click it, it's a PDF, contains lots of stuff, and you scroll down, there's the message from program chairs. And the statistic that we'll start with is the number of pages in this message. You see it here in the graph. I'm sorry that it's on the sides, but take a look. We have lots of pictures, so you should look. So we see it's typically in the last decade, it has been 1 or 2 pages with one outlier. Last year, 7 pages. And that's because, of course, ASPLOS became a multi-deadline conference. So we have 3 volumes. Actually, we have 4 volumes because our major revisions are currently being reviewed, and those that will get accepted will be presented next year. And we, in fact, have 23 papers in this program that is from last year, the major revision. And so the question is whether it will now stabilize on 7. And the answer that no, it didn't stabilize. It's a bit bigger. In fact, if it was an ASPLOS paper, it would have been rejected because of exceeding the page limit. Luckily, Madan and I decided to accept nevertheless our message. So the question, of course, is why, for the love of God, did we write 50 pages? And the reason is that there are lots of changes which are driven by the massive increase in submission numbers that ASPLOS experiences. So you see it here in the right. Last 3 years, we have experienced a growth rate of 1.5x every year. I'm hoping it will not, continue like that. I don't think it will scale. And so this increase prompted many changes. Here are some of them. So of course we had to dramatically increase the program committee size. It seems like one bullet, it's actually a month of work to get this size. We had to overhaul the review assignment process because with so many people that we don't know, it's challenging to appropriately assign submissions to reviewers. Of course, no more synchronous PC meeting for us, even not virtual, because I don't think it makes sense to meet 270 people in one Zoom meeting, right? And so we had to introduce a new role in ASPLOS this year, which will continue, the role of vice program chairs. We have 8 of them. They did excellent work. We couldn't have done it without them. I want to talk just a little bit about the challenge of having such a committee that is big enough. So you should be aware that serving on the ASPLOS committee for an entire year is hard. It's challenging. Many emails and calendar, like we block calendar dates and constant streaming of tasks and follow-ups and act this and write a summary and all that. It's very challenging. And we want as a program committee members ourselves, we want it to be sustainable. We want the people who agree to serve this year, we want them to agree to serve next year and subsequently. Otherwise, it won't work. So a main goal of Madan and me this year was to reduce the load to how it was when ASPLOS was single cycle. So we wanted to have, say, 15 to 17 reviews per member throughout the entire year, including major revision, which makes you re-review papers that you review. And it's about half of last year, which was the first year, and just double the load. Okay, so the problem is that when you do the math, you get to this number. You need 240. 240 is a lot of people. Okay, but we did it. Okay, we have something similar to 240, with enough ERC to compensate. And the question is, how did we do it? And of course, the answer is we sent many invites, but we don't know so many people, right? We don't know 500 people. So we had to mine the data. We aggregated all the program committee from the last 6-7 years, from the relevant conferences you see, ASPLOS, ISCA, programming languages, operating system, all these regular suspects. And when you have this data, you can analyze it and get some interesting statistics. I will show you one. This graph here shows you how reviewing load divides among the members in our community. And so in the x-axis, you can see number of PCs. And in the y-axis, you see the number of people who served in this many PCs. So at the left, at the top left, we see 900 something people. They served only once in the last 6-7 years. And at the right, you see 2 people, they served in 18. Okay, and importantly, when you draft a huge PC, you want to focus on the right side, because these are the people who are doing the work. And also, crucially, they tend to say yes for some reason, right? And to illustrate, these 6 here, all of them said yes, surprisingly. Okay, and they are all here. They did a great service, and we should thank all of them. And in fact, in recognition of their effort, we decided to hand the most die-hard reviewer award, which this year goes to Chris Rosbach, because A, he's the only one who's in the room, to my knowledge, and B, he's also simultaneously co-chairing next year's ASPLOS. They are already working hard, and is the general chair of SOSP this year. And with this,
thanks, Dan. Hi, everybody. So as Dan was saying, one of the biggest challenge that we had was to manage the scale of ASPLOS. And an important part of chairing is to make sure the right people are reviewing the right paper. So here's the problem that we have. We have a total of 921 submissions that we have to match against 272 PC members. And we want to make sure that every paper gets reviewed by a diverse set of reviewers with different perspectives. And we also want to manage the PC members' load. As Dan was saying, this was very important to us to make sure that our reviewers don't feel the load. So one of the normal things that many conferences use is to use hot crabs bidding, where people actually choose what papers they want to review. And there's been a lot of issues with that process related to collusion and coercion. But equally importantly, it's not very clear that we do a good job in selecting which papers we want to review when showed a large number of papers. And ASPLOS is unique in the sense that our scope is very large. We have a diverse, set of topics that get submitted, and all our PC members have a diverse set of interests. And one of the things that Dan and I wanted to make sure is that we want to minimize as much of manual intervention we can do, because at this scale, any manual intervention we have to do is a source of bias, right? So I'm not familiar with all the topics that get submitted. So I don't want, my expertise is in PL, so I don't want all the PL papers to get better reviewers, right? So one of the things that we did was we essentially codified every decision that we made as chairs to remove this bias. And that's one of the reasons why our PC message shares is large, is that we actually presented all of the, all our algorithm that we use in making many of the chairing decisions, so that any bias that we have is actually explicit in the algorithm. So that is something that we can review as a community and over a period of time improve. So I just want to talk about the review assignment. The way we did it is to first, we actually collected lots of signals that can tell you what can predict how good a particular PC member can review a paper. So I'm not going to go into the details of what these different scores do. For example, TPMS score will matches the current submission with the set of submission papers that a PC member has published. And so we can actually do a match using some very sophisticated machine learning. And we also use topic scores, so matching the topics a particular submission is on with the topics that a particular PC member can review, right? And so we collected all of these scores. And then what we did do was to, we also wanted to include, some manual process so that, so we actually took a very small subset of papers and presented to each of the PC member. And then we asked them if what their predicted expertise score would be if they reviewed that paper. So we collected all these scores, and then we fed it into a very big constraint solver. And what we did was we maximized the assignment score while making sure we account for conflicts and making sure we accommodate PC load. So we actually gave the flexibility for PC members to choose when they want to serve. Like some members chose to serve only in the summer cycle. Some said, hey, I want to load all my load on R2 or not on R1. So we gave them a lot of flexibility, and so constraints sort of manage all of that complexity. And we also minimized the conflicted co-reviewers, so that a single paper is not reviewed by, let's say, me and my colleagues right across my, my office, right? So we just wanted to sort of guarantee some diversity. So we have some results on the expertise that we achieved that we present in the business meeting. But again, for more details, please read our message, and you'll find it extremely interesting. So hopefully. Anyway, so for the program, we have 170 accepted papers, and there are still 33 fall major revisions which are ongoing. The papers that are selected from that cycle will be presented next, in next ASPLOS. But this year will be, you'll actually hear 193 presentations of the papers that are accepted both this year and 23 from last year. And each talk will be like 15 minutes. And we have designed our sessions such that they start exactly either at the hour or 30 past. And so the talk should start at 0, 15, 30, 45 minutes past the hour. So that you can use to, change between sessions if you need to. And this is for the session chairs and the speakers. Make sure you meet each other 15 minutes before the session so that, all the sessions are going on time. So we also want to announce at this time the best papers of ASPLOS 2024. Of all the submissions, we selected 6. I hope you can read them, the font, but we'll actually take these papers and make it, we'll actually change the program so that it's available in the program. So by the way, so please congratulate the best papers. Yeah, and also we will hand the awards at the banquet. So that will be the formal announcements. We're just announcing here so that you can, choose to, attend these talks. So we would like to, start are a set of people we want to thank. First of all, we want to thank our PC and the ERC. That was tremendous effort. So just to quantify the amount of work that is required, we had a total of 3,600 reviews and 12,600 online comments and discussion. If you just count the words, this is how it ranks with respect to some works like Lord of the Rings and Hobbit and Silmarillion. You can see that's in the first bar. And the second is the number of words in Game of Thrones. And you can, if you just look at the amount of work RPC collectively did, it's a lot of work. So thanks a lot. And one thing that we very soon realized is that Dan and I don't scale at the scale of ASPLOS. So very soon we realized that we had to find vice chairs. So we recruited Adam, Adrian, Chris, Don, Lewis, Santosh, Tyler, and Yufei. They actually managed, we assigned, subdivided the chairing work among them, and they did a phenomenal job. And this program wouldn't have been possible without them. Thank you. And I'd like to thank the debate chairs like Polomi and Joseph. So the debate will happen at 6 p.m. today. The WAKI, I'd like to thank the WAKI chairs like Manko and Sarah. The WAKI chairs, the WAKI session will happen at 7 p.m. today. And last but not least, I'd like to thank our keynote speakers. We have 4 exciting keynotes for you. Amin Madan, Ahmed Wichel, Tamar Elam, and Nafia Bashara. So we'll have one keynote right after this and another one tomorrow morning. And we'll have 2 on Wednesday. So please attend all of them. It's going to be really exciting. And I personally am looking forward to all of them. So thank you. So, Amin? Yeah.
I think this is fine. Or I don't.
So it's my honor and pleasure to introduce our first keynote speaker, Amit Madan. I've known him since he was a professor at UC San Diego, but he's currently the vice president of Google, leading the ML systems and cloud AI. He and his team deliver industry-leading ML systems for Google and the world. Before that, he oversaw the Google's compute, storage, and networking infrastructure. His work has had tremendous impact both on the research and on industry and the whole world, actually. And for that, he's won numerous awards, including the SIGCOMM Lifetime Achievement Award for his foundational work on data center and wide area networks. And many other awards that I'm not going to talk about today. And he's a member of National Academy of Engineering and an ACM fellow. So it's my pleasure to introduce Amin.